everyone, welcome. We are here for Ashley's Heart Song. This is the place where you get out of the stress and right back into your body, your life, your business. Our heart song, it balances us, it restores us. And when we are directed by that, ease and grace are in our path. So today I have a very, very special guest. I have Daisey Brown with us. She is a beautiful soul, and I cannot wait to introduce her to y'all, which I'm going to do right now, but I got to have my glasses. So this is Daisey Brown. We are going to be talking about hormonal health today. And for women, my goodness, this is just can be a conundrum for us, right? When we're young, it is, and we think that it's going to be over, but then we go through a thing later in life called menopause. And then we have hormones that kind of live their own life once again. So how do we as women navigate our way through this cycles? And Daisey is here today to help us with that. Daisey is a certified international health coach specializing in hormonal health. She is passionate about empowering women to live in alignment with their cycle, balance their hormones naturally, and optimize their overall wellness. Wow. Daisey's personal journey with hormonal balance has shaped her career path and given her empathy for women of all ages. Is that not true for all of us? We are usually working inside of the area in which we experienced, I'm just going to call it a suffering. And that enables us to have that empathy and knowledge and be able to, and experience to be able to help others. I love that about her, that she followed her heart. She followed her heart song. You can always find her shopping at Whole Foods, working with her clients, and enjoying her favorite raw honey and whole milk latte. Well, we're just going to have to hear more about that, won't we? So y'all, I want to bring Daisey up to the stage with me. This is Daisey Brown. Welcome, sweet girl. So happy you are here with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Oh, Daisey. Okay, so before we start really getting into the topic of our hormones, I do want you to share a little bit of your story. Like you said, it shaped your journey and what you're going to do, because this wasn't what you were going to do, right? This is
Correct.
totally different.
Yes, I thought I wanted to be a wedding planner until a few years ago. Yeah, my journey with hormonal health, it really started back in 2020. I decided to get off the birth control pill because I felt like it was contributing to my poor gut health. I suffered from constipation, which is not fun, and brain fog in high school. And overall, I just wasn't feeling my best. And I felt like this was something that was contributing to that factor. So after I got off the pill, I started to experience an array of symptoms. I gained 30 pounds, which is not fun. And I started to get hormonal acne all over my face. And then the worst thing of all, I lost my period for 9 months.
Wow.
And as a woman, that's very scary. And I just didn't know what was going on with my body. And I remember feeling super alone because I would talk to my friends, nobody was dealing with this. And I went to my gynecologist and then my dermatologist to talk about acne, and they just wanted to put me back on the pill. And internally, I knew that that wasn't the right thing for me. I wanted to get to the root of the problem. And I remember asking the doctors and my gynecologist, what should I be eating? I just feel like these are all connected. Do you know anything specifically that I should be doing? And they basically said that they were not related and that it didn't really matter what I was eating. And so I started to research on my own because I knew for me that that wasn't the end all be all. I just didn't want to be on a medication my whole life. And I really want to have kids one day. So I wanted to get my hormones back on track for when that day comes. So I started researching on my own, reading books and researching articles. And I found the cycle syncing method. and
Mm.
I really resonated with it. And it taught me about how our body has an infradian rhythm. So it's a body clock that starts at our first menstruation um, during puberty, and then it ends with our last menstruation at menopause. And so the infradian rhythm helps us to live more in tune with our cycle
Mm.
and the cycle syncing method. So I'll tell you about the 4 phases. Yeah.
Yeah, first, could you spell that word out for me? What cycle is this, or what phase is this? Or yeah, cycle. You called it a cycle, right? A rhythm.
Yes. So
How
it's
do
called an infradian rhythm. So I think a lot of us have heard of a circadian rhythm.
circadian? That's what I use. I use that term. So this is
Yes.
in infra.
Infradian. So it's spelled INFRADIAN.
So is there a difference between that one and circadian? There are.
Yes. So the
Okay.
circadian rhythm is our body's 24-hour clock,
Hmm.
and both men and women have this body clock.
Hmm.
And then the infradian rhythm is our monthly cyclical clock. So it works over the whole month, and there's 4 phases that I'm going to share with you. But it's really cool because only women experience this rhythm during from our first menstrual cycle until our last. And then after menopause, we go back to only experiencing a circadian rhythm.
Wow. Okay. So I have more on that to ask about that because that's where I'm at, right? And I still feel like my body is still in a cycle, in a rhythm,
Mhm.
right? With the moon, I feel it every time. And so that's really fascinating. However, I do want to get to the point because we will have some younger viewers that are on their cycle. And, I don't know about, well, I don't hear this from a lot of women, but I'm one of those girls. I loved my period. I mean, in fact, I miss it. I really wish that I still have it because it's just such a beautiful experience to have. And when you said that you missed it for 9 months, it's like, yeah, I remember when I was pregnant and I didn't have it for 9, 10 months, well, maybe even a little longer, that, you really kind of miss it because it's your body's way of cleansing itself, right?
Yes.
So do you find that through these phases you're going to share with us, does the cleansing part of that go into those phases?
Yes, I feel like when I understood the cycle syncing method, it made total sense because you feel all of these fluctuations throughout the month. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, um, they feel like they're crazy, or they kind of get upset with their body for not working with them in certain, days of the week and the month. And it really allows you to have grace for yourself because you understand all of the fluctuations, and you don't feel crazy anymore because your body is doing what it's supposed to do, which I think is really cool. But I'm totally the same way. I really do love my period. Once it's not horrible and you can manage your symptoms, it's a beautiful thing that women get to experience.
Oh, it is beautiful. Oh, it is. Okay, so let's get with these cycles. I want to know more about these cycles.
Yeah.
What are they?
So our first phase is the menstrual phase, so our bleed,
Hmm.
and this is our inner winter.
Okay.
So during this phase, our estrogen and progesterone, they both drop. We have the lowest energy, so you might feel tired, withdrawn, introspective, but this is a great time to trust your intuition. And during this phase, as diet goes, you want to focus on balancing your blood sugar. So you could sip mineral rich bone broth,
Mhm.
and making chili or stew is really great during this time, and incorporating vitamin rich smoothies. And
Mhm.
then movement, you really want to focus on restorative movement. So deep breathing, yin yoga, a long walk, or a professional nap would be great during this time.
Right.
And then the next phase
Oh,
is our
hold on. Not so
follicular.
fast. Hold on. I
Yeah,
got questions.
yeah.
Wait a minute. So let's explain to the audience about yin yoga versus yang yoga, because so people may not understand the yin and yang. So would
Yeah.
you let them know which yogas they could participate in that would be more yin versus yang? What would you recommend?
So the yin yoga, it's my favorite. Um, it's very restorative, like I was saying, more so stretching, long stretches. So you'll sit in a pose or a stretch for like 8 minutes. And it's not very intense on the body
Okay.
versus like a vinyasa yoga is very high paced and gets your heart rate up, which is great for our other phases, but your body is working very hard on your menstrual phase. And so it's really good to just, stretch, and it's almost like a meditation practice too.
Beautiful. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the yin is more the feminine, is the feminine, and yang is the masculine, so to
Mm.
speak. So
Yes, I love that.
when yeah, so the yang, which when we're on our cycle, when we're bleeding, I loved the way you said the bleeding phase. When we are doing that, our tendency, oh, we feel so bloated and we feel like, oh, I got to exercise and get this weight off, right? And we want to push through that cycle time. But I had a very dear eating coach when I was going through all of that. And she was so kind in the way she expressed exactly what you're expressing. This is your gentle time, Ashley. This is
Yeah.
your time to be kind to your body, to really think about those words that are wanting to come out of your mouth, right? Because we can be Hanoi Hannah during that time, right, Daisy? And so it's like when you're speaking those, be gentle with yourself and just go, "Oh, why am I feeling that way?" Right? Because we are more of this. And so the yang yoga that you're speaking to, like the vinyasa, would really charge you probably and make you even more Hanoi Hannah instead of feeling better. Would you say
Yes,
that? Yeah.
absolutely. And um in these one of the cool things about practicing cycle syncing is a lot of women experience weight gain because they're pushing themselves in the wrong phases of their cycle, and your body really can't handle that. I mean, your hormones are trying to work for you, so you also want to work with them instead of against them. And um, you also need more calories during the last two phases of your cycle. And a lot of women get bloated during their period and want to, take down the calories and work out more, but we need to be doing the opposite. And then we'll actually feel more imbalanced.
So Daisy, you said something really important here, and that was the people have a tendency to not feed their bodies during that time, when really what they need to do is feed, because when you're in sync with that cycle, the natural cycle of your body, you will actually shed weight versus that fighting it. Whereas you would probably keep the weight on if you're fighting it during that yin part of your cycle. Did I
Right.
understand you right?
Yes.
Wow, that's huge, y'all.
So it's crazy. Once it clicks, it makes total sense. And
Yeah.
I feel like it really, like I said earlier, gives us all grace because we beat ourselves up, we want to like look a certain way, and we don't want to feel bloated, and women are powerful and we will do whatever it takes to look and feel how we want to feel,
Yes.
but our body is trying to tell us something. When your energy goes down, it is a time to rest, and you'll get the spike of energy, back in the middle of your cycle. So I think it's really important to lean into it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you for letting us go deeper into that.
Yeah.
Okay, step number two, cycle number two, phase.
Yes.
It's a
Phase
phase.
number 2,
Phase.
is our follicular phase. So this is our inner spring. And so when I say that, you kind of think of spring, or like your menstrual phase is winter. what foods would you be eating during that season? And how would you be acting? So, like in your winter phase, the menstrual phase, you would probably want to be like cozied up on the couch, eating like chili. And then in your follicular phase, the inner spring, you are more active, you're getting your energy back. You might want a smoothie or a salad.
Mm.
So that's just another way of thinking about it. So your estrogen and testosterone are on the rise again during your follicular phase. So you'll start to get an energy boost and you'll start to feel more confident, which is awesome. And then you will also get a libido stimulation and you'll feel more extroverted. And some foods to focus on would be estrogen building foods. So some things are like healthy fats, and then seeds are really important. So pomegranate seeds, pumpkin, and flax seeds are great during this phase. And then as far as exercise goes, you can engage in more strenuous exercise. So the vinyasa yoga, biking, dancing, which is my favorite, hiking, running, swimming, Pilates would all be great during this phase.
How fun. So I remember when I was having mine, and I would always think, okay, I want to schedule something to where it is I use that I period calendar, and I knew exactly when my cycle was because I am one of those blessed individuals. It was every 28 days,
That's
right? It was just,
amazing.
I was so blessed every 28 days, give or take a day or whatever.
Mhm.
And I tell you, if you tell your body how much you love your cycle will begin to love you back and get in alignment, because it wasn't always like that. It was like a 7-day long thing for me. But when I began saying how much I loved my period, how much I loved my cycle, it shortened and it was less intense. And it just, my body began cooperating. So, gals out there, love your body and love your period. But what I was saying was when I would schedule things, I would want to always put them on this week, on the follicular phase you're talking about. But I was like, oh, I wish I was doing that on this week because that's when I'd feel really good in a swimsuit.
Absolutely. That's so cool. And did you know about the phases or did you just feel intuitively?
No, I felt intuitively. I was so ignorant, the only thing I knew is that I loved my period because I'd better, or it was not going to be nice to me. And so hearing all of this, I'm like, that's why. That's
That's
why I just felt so, yeah, good
that's super
week after.
cool. Yes. And I love what you said about telling yourself that you love your period because that's just a testament to your words are so powerful and your thoughts are so powerful.
Mhm.
You really do dictate a lot that goes on in your body.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we? We do a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I love that second phase. Love that.
Yes, I do too. It's one of my favorites. That's the phase I'm in right now, so I feel
Oh,
very happy.
this was just spot on the perfect date.
So our next phase, the third phase, is your ovulatory phase. So this is our inner summer, and your estrogen and testosterone are at a peak during this phase. So you'll have the most energy, you'll feel the most attractive, and you'll have the highest sex drive because this is when you would be getting pregnant if you're trying to have a baby. And this is a good time to schedule a date, launch a new venture, schedule any public speaking events.
Oh,
And then, as far as diet goes, you want to focus on liver detoxification because we want to get the excess estrogen out of our system so we don't experience any PMS symptoms in our next phase. So, things that will help with this are broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, or broccoli sprouts are really great, or a raw carrot salad. And then exercise, you can incorporate high impact and group exercise. So, HIIT workouts, cycling, high intensity weight training, Camp Gladiator, or something like Barry's boot camp is great during this time.
How much fun. So you have more energy
Mhm.
during that third phase. Okay, that would make sense.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
Yes, and during your follicular and ovulatory phase, you might notice that because of your shift in hormones, you're not as hungry and you do have more energy, and so you'll be able to perform better in the gym. Whereas your menstrual phase and then our next phase, the luteal phase, you'll be more hungry and you'll have less energy, and then your workouts and your like productivity slash social battery is going to go down, and you'll want to focus more on like restorative and relaxation practices.
Okay. During the fourth phase, the luteal phase?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So before we go deeper on that one, let's go back to the liver cleanse one because which is you called it the third phase is the ovulatory phase. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So on the third phase, when it's about liver cleansing, um, this is really great information that I wish that I had had
Mm.
long ago. Not long ago. I just stopped mine a couple of years ago. But I wish I'd had this because I didn't realize that a liver cleanse would release some excess estrogen from my system and therefore lowering PMS symptoms. Because usually they say it's the sugar that creates the PMS, which we know that sugar does all sorts of yucky things with our hormones. So that makes sense. But cleansing the liver. So you're saying by including those vegetables, we can help support our liver in that process. But is there anything else that you can do that helps support that liver cleansing? Like any foods that we should lighten up on in order to help those be even more powerful in our system? Is there any kind of balancing with the essential
Yeah.
fats and the proteins in that?
Yes. So, as far as diet goes, definitely sugar and really, really starchy carbs, not complex carbs like sweet potatoes and rice and things like that. But, the processed stuff,
Mhm.
we know that that obviously is going to contribute to us not feeling great. But incorporating certain foods really helps your body aid in the detoxification of your liver. Other things I really like to do is a castor oil pack. Have you heard of that?
Mhm.
I love doing that and putting that on your liver. During this phase, you can do it really anytime, but that also just aids your body in the detoxification process. Or I also love coffee enemas. I don't know if you've ever done one of.
Have not. No.
So you can kind of look up how to do them, but it's just an enema with filtered high quality coffee, but that triggers something in your liver to detoxify, which is really cool. So
Nice.
that would be two practices to take up during this time, along with incorporating the vegetables into your diet.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I just bought one of those. My doctor had told me it's an integrative doctor, and they
Mm.
had said to start doing detoxing my liver and for me to get one of those castrol pack things. And so I just got it. And so I am going to start doing it.
That's
So yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
Yes, that's perfect. So I think that they're great to do anytime, and even like post menopause. We all need our bodies all need an aid sometimes. Our body knows what to do, but we have a lot of outside things coming in, our water, even stress. It just affects everything in our body. So anything we can do to aid that process, I think is great.
Hmm. Beautiful.
So the last phase
Mhm.
is our luteal phase, which is our inner fall. This is our longest phase. So estrogen starts to drop, which can cause PMS symptoms, and then it'll rise again. and our progesterone rises, which can cause you to be more sensitive and emotional.
Yeah.
So, week 1, you'll still have high energy, but it'll start to decline.
Mm.
This is a good time to read a book, organize, complete your to-do list, and kind of nest. And then you could also take up some self-care practices. Some foods to focus on are anything that can boost your progesterone. So my favorite is Brussels sprouts. Other things are foods rich in magnesium, like spinach or chia seeds, vitamin B6. So salmon, sweet potato, or bananas are great for that. Vitamin C, which I like bell peppers, which are great for that. And then citrus fruits. And then zinc. So red meat, poultry, or oysters.
Mm.
Focus on gentle exercise during this time. So your energy levels are coming down. You'll want to focus on Pilates, bar. You could still do a power yoga if it's not too much. You kind of need to be in tune with your body.
Mhm.
Or I just like to do a really long walk. And then next, if you have any questions first, I was going to go into some post-menopause, diet and movement.
Yeah, that would be great. But the personal trainer in me wants to latch on to what you had said. So there are 2 weeks of the month when it's gentle exercise. It's more tuning in and listening to what your body needs. And then the other 2 weeks, which are the middle two, actually, right? So the end caps, your end caps are gentle,
Mhm.
tuned in exercise, and then the 2 weeks in the middle are the ones where you got more energy, and the boot camps are good, the restorative yogas are good, or the vinyasa is good,
Mhm.
all of those. So it's really fun how women can map out their exercise activity based off of these phases, and they can honor their body in such a way that they're not fighting their body any longer, but they're working with it. So Daisy, this is just like, it is such a beautiful um, web of information that you have brought to us today, that it really is freeing for us women. Like you said, when we see the value of how we can honor each one of these phases and honor our body through it, how much easier our life would be.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it's cool when you start to put it into practice because you're not working as hard.
Mhm.
You're just living your life really and
Yeah.
listening to your body. And it's really cool to literally like feel the shift. And I'll look at my app and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm in my luteal phase or I'm in my follicular phase. It makes sense why I'm so social and wanting to work out really hard. It all
Yeah.
makes sense.
It does. Wow. Our lives would be so much easier if 30 years ago and all that we understood this, right? If this could be taught to young girls when they're, you know, I don't know about y'all, but when I was in the 5th grade, you saw a video on what happens to your body when you become a woman, right? I mean, you watch that and you're sitting there in horror going, what? That can't happen to me, right? I mean, no way is my body going to betray me like that. But if they could teach it in this way about the phases, look what you get to look forward to. You have all these phases where you can do all these different things, and the sky's the limit for you because you have so much capability when you have knowledge of each one of these phases. It would be a great class for 5th graders.
Absolutely. Yeah, my sister is very young. We're 10 years apart. She's younger than me. And I'm already teaching her this. So in hopes that it's not a scary thing. But yeah, I think if I knew this in 5th grade, my view on everything would be totally different. I'm glad I know about it now, but still there was, years that I was suffering instead of feeling empowered and in tune with my body. So I think it would be great to implement this into, the puberty talk, and it's a more empowering conversation, I think.
Yes, less fear. I think
Absolutely.
the other brought so much fear. I know it did brought fear within me, and I even had a couple of older sisters, but
Mhm.
in seeing them, but still I thought, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't want that. But yeah, this is so much more empowering. Wow,
Yeah.
what a wealth of information. All right, so our the postmenopause.
Yes.
What have you
So
got for us here?
during postmenopause, this is also a really empowering time of life. So you want to focus on balancing your blood sugar. We all do, but it's very important during this time.
Okay.
So eating whole food based meals is very important. So I like to eat every 4 hours, but to balance your blood sugar, you could do every 3 to 4, somewhere in there. And you want to think about the way that you're plating. So, half of your plate, you want to do non starchy vegetables such as arugula, spinach, mixed greens, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, any of your favorite greens. And then 1/4 of your plate will be a high quality protein, such as chicken, beef, turkey, or salmon, and then the other fourth, you can fill with a complex carb. My favorite is sweet potato or making rice with bone broth.
Mhm.
And then we always want to incorporate a healthy fat. So adding avocado, drizzling olive oil, cooking in grass fed ghee or butter. And then as far as movement, you want to incorporate strength training because this will help with bone density and functional cardio. So, a long walk or even ballroom dancing, which I think would be super fun.
That would be super fun, wouldn't it? I
Yes.
think so too, being twirled around the dance floor. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
And I grew up dancing, so I think that's something I would love to do.
For sure.
So these are some of the things that I did to help me get more in tune with my cycle. So, like I said, I after I got off birth control didn't have a period for 9 months. So, like you were saying earlier, you feel like you're still in tune with the moon
Mhm.
phases. So, if you don't have a cycle, so when I didn't have a period, obviously I wasn't menstruating, so I wasn't sure when to start these phases. So what you can do, and you can do this if you are in perimenopause or even postmenopausal, if you still want to feel in tune with the phases, you can follow the moon, and you can basically look up on the internet what moon phase it is, and then practice the same cycles with the moon phases, which is really cool.
It's cool. Okay, so like which moon phase goes with which can you
Yes, I need to double check on this because
okay.
it's
Take your
been a
time.
minute. I believe it's the new moon with your menstrual phase,
Okay.
which is your first phase. So then you would follow the rest of them after that. So I believe the full moon, you will be ovulating, and you
Okay.
can practice the ovulatory phase during your full moon.
Awesome. That is so fun. All right.
Yes. And then I was also just going to add the other part of my story. This did really help trigger my cycle to come back. But I also worked with a practitioner to get a Dutch hormone panel, which was super helpful. And I learned that I had low progesterone and high estrogen and low testosterone. So, a few things I also did to help these imbalances, since I wanted to take a more natural approach if possible. I used Vitex supplement and wild yam extract, and I did it in an essential oil. I started those on the 14th day of my cycle, And then I took them until I started my period. So this, along with the cycle syncing, is what helped bring back my period after 9 months, which felt really
Mm.
empowering and such a relief to be able to naturally bring it back because I was scared for 9 months. I didn't want to have to go back on the pill because I didn't think that was the answer. So that was very empowering. And as far as lowering my estrogen, I started to go through my products and switch over to non toxic products, which helped lower my estrogen levels. Sounds weird, but they contribute a lot to each other. And then also, I increased my protein intake and made sure that I was practicing strength training during my ovulatory and follicular phase to help my testosterone levels.
It's amazing that we can impact our hormones just by doing all those things naturally. Um,
Yeah.
I had told my integrative specialist that I didn't really want to do any hormone stuff, even if it was bioidentical. And I did try a little bit of these creams, and I did not have a very good, they were bioidentical, super great. However, my body said, really loud. And so I stopped that and I went, okay, how am I going to do this? So Daisy, very similar to you, of course. And that is, okay, what foods do I need to do? What kind of workouts do I need to do? And let's get this happening. And how much protein do I need a day? So it's, in women, it's minimum of 48 grams of protein just for biological processes. And men are 54, 56. I think it's 56 grams. And so women, we've got to, who are in postmenopausal, you've got to up it, not just 48. It needs to be like 70 to 100 in order to help your testosterone level rise, correct? Is that what you found? That you needed a
Mhm.
lot more?
Which is a lot. And if you're not paying attention, you're not meeting those levels. But as soon as you learn this knowledge, you're able to make these changes, which I think is really cool. And there's simple little things, but if you're not doing it, you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. So from our live audience, we do have a question that we are going to answer in just a little bit. So we're going to break out and go to live audience here in a minute. Is there anything that you would like to say now, Daisy, before we stop the recording and are just with our Q&A live?
Well, I wanted to offer a little giveaway. So I wanted to do 2 free coaching sessions. And the way you can enter this is you can go to my website, which is sagewellnessco.org. And on the home screen, you can go to subscribe and you'll just put in your name, email, and in the note, you can put Ashley's heart song. And this giveaway will end on Friday, the 12th. So you can enter until then, and then I will reach out via email to the winner and we'll set up our first call.
Nice. How generous. That is so much fun. Thank you for offering that to my audience. I'm
Oh,
so
you're so
grateful.
welcome.
Thank you. And Daisy, what a pleasure. What a pleasure it has been to be with you and to have you as a guest. A wealth of information. And if y'all have any questions for Daisy after today, Daisy, how can people contact you other than through your website, which that's a great point of reference, sagewellnessco.org. You can contact Daisy through that, but how can they find you elsewhere? What else can they tune to?
Well, if you have any direct questions, you can email me, and my email is Daisey, it's DAISEY at sagewellnessco.org. You can email me there. That's also on my website if you forget that. And then I'm also on social media. I haven't posted a lot, but you can definitely follow me there. And I want to post more on there. So I'm on Instagram, which is sage period wellness co. And then on Facebook, I'm sage.wellnessco.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for being with us today, Daisy. You are just been a delight and again, a wealth of information on women and our hormones, our best friends, So hang tight, everybody. I'm going to end this part of the show and we will be right back with you. Thank you again for joining us today. We are just so honored that you spent your time with us. This has been Ashley's Heart Song, and I look forward to seeing you next time.